Good evening, good evening, good evening. I am Sentient Dessert. Welcome to my channel. I am continuing with my relaxing theme of puzzles. See? Puzzles. And I think we're going to go with this lovely water one today. Water, rocks. It's just lovely. I'm not going to give myself any rules for this time around, because I just want to relax and see what I can do. I hope that you are all having a very good day. Been quite hot today here. And when you've got hot weather and you mix it with massive thunderhead, that doesn't make for very good weather for people farther to the east. I would not be surprised if there were some pretty bad tornadoes that have spawned today. I do hope everyone's okay if that has been the case. Tornadoes can be scary. I had the misfortune one time to actually drive through one. It was a very... Many people might classify it as a dust devil, but dust devils do not connect up to the cloud above. And it was one that just sort of appeared out of nowhere. So if there's a different name for that, I'd like to know. It was a scary ordeal, and I'm just glad that it was not a strong twister. Oh, we found the corner. Now then, we've gone through each and every piece over here. We have obtained all of the wonderful edge pieces. That's right, we're edging. We're edging our bets. But even so, try not to be an edgelord. And I am going to stop with the puns. For now. They may come back. Don't want to live there. Okay. Excuse me. I'm always curious if people that watch videos like this are screaming at the person that is actually doing the video. There's a piece there that you need to put there. No, it's there. It's there. Put that piece there. Because I'm not necessarily always looking at the same part of the screen that someone viewing this might. Oh, Down next corner. One more corner to go. Unless I'm blind and I pulled it already. Distinct possibility. Need to look into other puzzle programs. See if there's any that are... I did try one other... This puzzle game, Super Jigsaw Puzzle Generations, is what I'm playing on right now. And there was another one that I played, I can't remember, but it was it was horrible. The interface was bad. Um, it was it was designed like a bad 90s website where you had pop-ups everywhere saying, "Hey, you wanna, you know, pay $5 to get access to all these other puzzles?" Like after you would complete one puzzle, you'd have a million pop-ups to get rid of. So it was not an enjoyable, not a very enjoyable game. This one does not do any pop-ups. It's got a few things that I have issue with, but they're not deal breakers. But like with the one that I was just talking about, you don't need a pop-up every like 20 minutes that you're doing a puzzle saying, "Hey, how about paying us money to continue with keeping this program free?" Now, I understand wanting to get paid for your hard work. I've got nothing against that, but when you build it in and it takes away from the game, that's where I have issue. It's like this one. I have purchased some of the downloadable content for this because I do enjoy this. A wonderful puzzle simulator, even with its flaws. Though I wonder sometimes if it is the same pattern. It's just a matter of finding the pieces to match the pattern that they have set up. I really don't feel motivated to find out the answer to that question, so I'm just going to enjoy what I've got. I think I'm going to spend... What day is it even? It is Saturday. Okay. I'm probably going to spend a little bit of time tomorrow looking for some music, some open source music that I can just play in the background on loop that's calming. Last time I went on that little merry hunt, I think I found like 3 or 4 songs in the span of 2 days that, I felt would be good for what I was doing. And yeah, that doesn't really spark, doesn't really motivate me to look again. Because I do think the music might add to the ambiance, the atmosphere. Make it a little bit easier to watch so that I don't feel compelled to talk the entire time. Sometimes there's just not anything to talk about. Not gonna fit there, so you go over here somewhere. Right. You, however, do go there. No? Ah, that would be why no. Okay. I'm having a right time with this one. There we go. Looks like I did not grab all of the edge pieces. Always miss one, it seems. At least one. In this case, two. Hmm. Alright. We have got that section done. Let's work on getting white section done. Lovely little rapids and mist. And most of them are going to be over there. There's one little tiny section right here, it looks like. But for the most part, everything is going to be on this left side. You look like you go like that. This, like it goes right here in this section. Yeah, because that little tiny mark is right there. Okay, so you are not part of what we're working. Okay. Oh, didn't mean to do that, but I can't undo it now. It's still water. You, right there. Hey, we got dark water. More dark water. Wonder if there are any pirates in it. Kudos if you get that reference. Hmm. Yep. There somewhere, I think. Yes. Go right there. Probably gonna connect right there. Yep. long white line. Like it's going to be right around here, so we can connect. Ooh. We're going to connect with this piece. Right shade, wrong area. Where are you? Right there, apparently. Didn't intend to do that, but apparently that's where that piece goes. E. Finding more connectors every day. Better, you can be like, huh. Like it's gonna be like that, and it's gonna be a section here. That certainly makes things easier. Oh, nope, nope. We're gonna go right there. Not gonna connect either of them. There we go. Absolutely wonderful. Have the next piece. What about you? Where do you want to dwell? Look like you might dwell for 8. Above. Glancing over every so often to see if anybody is in the chat, and as expected, no one. Maybe that'll change in the future. What have we here? Have connection. You are gonna be like that. Yep. I love puzzles. Things that don't look like they could ever go next to each other tend to go next to each other. Even with store-bought physical puzzles, many times there will be a cut right on the line between color shift. It's kind of insidious how well they have them planned, even if it is just like the same jig for multiple puzzles. Pieces tend to line up frequently. Finally found where that one goes. Top of a rock, top of a rock. bottom of a rock. Nope. What would be a top of a rock? Yep. Top of a rock taken care of. We will just come back to you. However, there you go. Found a nice little home for you. And we've just passed the 30-minute mark. And I'd say we're halfway done, as per usual. So, let us see what's going on next. Water? Dark water again. Shadows on the water. You know, if someone's pounding on a door hard enough when you can hear it from across multiple yards. You can almost feel that. You're not. Okay, so we've got this over here. Okay, makes sense. And you could go like that and go right there. You, right there. Sometimes you move the piece after you realize where it goes. Okay, topic to talk about. I recently started watching The 100, which a lot of people seem to like. But I'm a director, I'm a writer. I do stuff with plays and whatnot, and there's so many problems with how that show has been. At least the first few seasons, the writers, it was like the person taking over the writing had no idea what the character's personality was. Now, I don't know if that's taken from the books or not, and if so, that's a very strong mark against the author. But there was very little continuity in how characters would act, and like unpredictable in the way that you don't know what character George Martin's going to kill off next in his books, but different in that, well, probably even the same, in that it makes very little sense for how it happened or why it happened. So I've made it to what, third or fourth season. I'm not going to give any spoilers as to what happens. I'm one of those people that hates spoilers. But yeah, the decisions that are made by the characters just don't. One thing that I've picked up is there has to be a reason and there has to be a justification for the actions of a character, even if only you know what it is. It can help you write the character better and explore how that character is supposed to actually be working in said situation. And thought experiments for the characters are a wonderful thing. Like, hey, I wonder what this character would do in said situation. That's where a lot of fan fiction pops up. And, yeah, I could try to fix the problems through fan fiction, but I'm not that invested in the show. It's just something that I wanted to talk about at the moment. So the characters do not have there's no apparent motivation as to why their character changed so drastically, and that can be said of like very much so of one of the main characters. I'm trying to remember his name. I want to say Mallory. In the first, yeah, in the first three seasons, his personality is he flip flops so much that you'd think that he was, not to be derogatory when I say it, multiple. So yeah, it's definitely not. I mean, they've got the drama aspect of it relatively well, but yeah, it's more like a soap opera when it comes to. Now, even in soap operas, the motivations that the characters have, they will talk about it ceaselessly for multiple episodes, because that's how soap operas work. It's like you only get an hour of new content on a soap opera per week. They give you about 5 to 10 minutes each day of new content, and everything else is just the script from the previous day, previous few days, with additional content at the end. That way, if you miss a day or two, you're not completely lost. And they do that on purpose. But it does not make for engaging evening television. So if you have not seen the show, I don't recommend it. It has mostly just been background noise for me. The times that I was paying attention when it actually seemed interesting, they do things that were unjustified by everything else they set up. It's the easiest way to explain it would be it's similar to Chekhov's gun. For those that don't know, Chekhov's gun is the premise that if you show a gun on stage, then before the end of the play, the gun has to be fired. And it's just one of those, it's an idiom referring to audience expectations. And if you expect a character to act in a certain way, if everything is pointed to them acting a certain way, and then the character does not act that way, the audience can feel both cheated or surprised, and if the character is not, trying to think of what I want to say, how to say it. If the character does not earn the action, like a good example and would be Game of Thrones. And it would be the instance with Littlefinger and his ultimate fate. That was an earned scene because everything for it had been set up. Granted, it was not set up in a way that was the obvious way it was supposed to go. It was set up in a manner that was to mislead the audience. And there's a difference between misleading the audience and just coming out of left field with personality character changes. So continuity of character is something that does need to be added to that show. Because it seems like every few episodes or even every season, again, end of the 3rd season I think I'm at, the characters undergo a complete and utter personality change, which kind of feels insulting to watch. It's like you invest time in liking a character and they're no longer that character by the end of the episode. But there are exceptions to it. It's so blatantly apparent in the 100 that I just had to talk about it. one of those things that's been bothering the back of my head in the thoughts. And hey, you might be inspired to go and watch it to see what I'm talking about. It happens quite frequently in the first season, but between first and second season, it's like, what? Why is this character now acting this way? And they don't have many good justifications for it. So it is not earned. There is a philosophy within theater that if you can find justification for it on the page, then you can do it. And that comes up quite frequently when you're doing something like Shakespeare. I used to be someone that hated Shakespeare. I could not stand Shakespeare. I'll just put it as simply as that. I know going to theater when you don't like Shakespeare, it's one of those strange choices. But my ultimate goal was to try to get into film. Still trying there, gradually building up the resume and whatnot. But when it comes to something like Shakespeare, it just took a teacher that taught me how to both read and appreciate what was being said. And rarely are you going to find a teacher that teaches reading Shakespeare as an English class that actually understands Shakespeare. Because, yeah, Shakespeare was kind of the playwright of the people, and he was extremely vulgar in many of his plays. Extremely vulgar. He did enjoy himself poop, fart, and dick jokes. And you can find them in almost every one of his plays, even the tragedies. Because that's just, you needed to have some little bit of comedy in the tragedy. So if you ever want to understand Shakespeare, take the theater version of reading Shakespeare and hope you get a decent teacher. But I will continue this tomorrow. Well, I'll finish up the thought that I was in the middle of. Finding the text to justify the finding justification within the text, it means exactly what it says. You find, if you want the character to have certain things about him, yet the text contradicts what you want to change about the character, then it's going to be hard justifying why you want that change in the character. Like if it describes a character in the text as being extremely skinny, yeah, you could go for comic thing by making the character played by someone that was heavier. It may not read as well. It may not even read at all. But you got to find, you got to be able to analyze the text and understand what's going on and have the justifications for your choices come from the text and not from your own personal feelings. Which can happen well in Shakespeare, it can happen poorly in Shakespeare. But that's That's one of the key principles when doing a performance. At the same time, if the text doesn't say anything that counters what you want to do, and it doesn't say anything that um, reinforces what you want to do, you can do pretty much anything, which is why you've got stuff like Hamlet set in space, or um, Romeo and Juliet retold as a musical. It's you can do pretty much whatever you want, and especially with Shakespeare stuff, which many of those stories were stolen from previous writers. Romeo and Juliet, I think, goes back to a 3rd century story from Egypt. I'd have to trace that again. It's been a few years since I looked that stuff up, but yeah, a lot of the stories go back farther than what's there. Well, I hope you enjoyed the puzzle today and my little half rant. If you want to subscribe, please do. If you don't, I'm not going to hold it against you. Like if you want. Be kind out there. Have a good solar cycle. Take care of yourself. Take care of others. Please watch out for each other right now. We're past 1.5 million people dead right now in this country. No, sorry. 150,000. 150,000. And my tone sounded happy there. I did not mean for it to come across as happy. We are past. There are more people dead than need to be. So just watch out for each other out there. I love you. I hope you are all safe. I will see you tomorrow, figuratively speaking. Have a wonderful evening. Good night.